The dude who ran Donald Trump's campaign, literally seconds after he was released from the Trump campaign, was snapped up by CNN. And, you were going to get some great insights from Corey Lewandowski on things like everything really maybe except for Trump, because it's quite possible that his non-disclosure agreement won't allow him to criticize Trump. So kudos to CNN. They may not have asked that question before they hired him. It may not have occurred to anybody like, oh, maybe, is it really possible that Donald Trump would have? It turns out it is.
Did you sign a non-disclosure agreement when you worked for the Trump campaign?
So when I came on the campaign, thanks first and foremost for having me on. It's a pleasure to be with you tonight. When I came on board the Trump campaign, like everybody else, I said what I would do is keep confidential information confidential, and I signed a document to that degree, and I don't plan on ever breaking that. My confidentiality agreement is such where information that I'd be privy to and private conversations that take place between family members that are not meant for the public audience are going to be held in the closest and strictest of confidence with me, and I think that's my duty and my obligation, not just as someone who signed a document, but more importantly as a person who has respect for the individual he worked for. So I will tell you that I'm not here to release private information of family members or discussions that took place behind the scenes that the public really has no reason to be aware of.
Right. Okay. So private conversations, but also just in terms of whether you're going to be able to say what you really think. I mean, the agreement that CNN obtained that Trump employees signed says something a little bit more specific than what you just said, Corey. It said, during the term of your service and at all times thereafter, you hereby promise and agree not to demean or disparage publicly the company Mr. Trump, any Trump company, any family member, or any family member company. Did you sign something like that said no disparaging?
Let me tell you who I am, and for those who don't know me, I'm a guy who calls balls and strikes. I'm going to tell it like it is, because that's how I've had my entire career, and most of the time it's been at my own detriment. People who know me know I'm a very straightforward person. I'll tell you exactly like it is, whether you like it or not, and maybe that's the reason I don't have some of the jobs I should have had or been given some of those opportunities, because I'm a straightforward person. That's not going to change. No matter what I've done or what I've said, if something is wrong, I'm going to tell people it's wrong. If something's right, I'm going to tell people it's right. So there's nothing that's going to stop me from telling the truth, in my opinion, regardless of what that is. And I think that's what the people expect, and that's what people deserve.
Right. The bottom line that the viewers want to know is, even when it's saying something bad about Donald Trump.
Look, I'm going to say it like it is. If I agree, if I disagree, I'm going to come out and tell you this is right, this is wrong, this is my opinion on things. And I think that's what the people have a right to have. My opinion on what I believe is right and wrong. Doesn't mean you have to agree with me, but I am going to tell you what I think for sure.
Do you believe Corey Lewandowski?
Michael, I'm glad you asked me that question, because I'm the type of person who wouldn't dance around a question that you would ask me. I'm the type of person who, when you ask me a question, what I do is I give you a straight answer. I either say yes or no, depending on what that question is. So I'm not going to dance around an issue like as if I'm some type of dancer.
No, I appreciate that. So, and that's obviously why I asked you the question. So circling back to that, would you sort of tend to trust what Corey Lewandowski said there?
I'm glad you said circle, because one of the things that I can't stand is when people dance around in a circle. And that's one of the things I'm not going to do. That's the type of person I am. I'm a yes or no type of guy. I tell it like it is. In fact, that's been one of my problems, Michael, that when people say to me like, hey, yes or no, and I always answer, what comes right off the top of my head. So that's all I can tell you. Can't get any clearer than that. Also, sign the contract. I'm getting paid either way. Hello, you. I'm Sam Seder. Looking for smart progressive talk that is occasionally amusing? Well, subscribe to our YouTube feed. Subscribe to our podcast. Like us on Facebook. And just generally enjoy us.